You probably won't find a woman among the top 10 richest persons in the world, but there's no denying that some women have been making huge impacts on the world economy as well as for themselves. The number of women billionaires right now in the world has soared greatly. You don't need to look too far to see them. You probably know some of them as famous celebrities like Rihanna, whose major wealth comes from her Fenty business, Oprah Winfrey, the first black woman billionaire, and numerous artists and sports personnel alike. But do you know the top 10 richest women in the world? Let's take a look at 10 insanely rich women whose wealth would make these celebrity billionaires you know look average. You might be surprised that you don't recognize most of them. Number 10. Iris Fontbona, $23.3 billion. Iris Fontbona is the widow of Andronico Luksic, whose bulk of his wealth was in mining and beverages. He died in 2005 due to cancer and left his fortune and business in the safe hands of Fontbona and their 3 children, Jean-Paul, Andronico, and Guillermo Luksic, who died of lung cancer in 2013 at age 57. Together, they control Antofagasta plc, which owns copper mines in Chile and trades on the London Stock Exchange. They also own a majority stake in Quinyenco, a publicly traded Chilean conglomerate active in banking, beer, and manufacturing. She is the wealthiest person in Chile, the 3rd wealthiest in Latin America, and the 10th richest woman in the world. Number 9. Gina Rinehart, $23.6 billion. Gina Rinehart is the 9th richest woman in the world, with a net worth of $23.6 billion. She is the executive chairman of Hancock Prospecting, a private mining and agricultural business she inherited. However, this business was on the brink of bankruptcy at the time it was inherited. Through hard work, dedication, and her unrelenting spirit, Rinehart turned around this business into one of the most successful business stories you'll hear in the world today. She also dabbles in the beef market, making Hancock the 3rd biggest cattle producer in Australia. Rinehart is Australia's richest person. In 2012, she was the wealthiest woman in the world with $29 billion. However, this net worth dropped significantly to what it is now due to the slowdown in the Australian mining sector. Number 8. Suzanne Clatton, $27.7 billion. Suzanne Clatton is an heiress who inherited most of what she has from her late mother, Johanna Quandt. She owns about 19% of BMW. She is also the owner and deputy chairman of Altana, a pharmaceutical and chemical company, and inherited her father's 50.1% stake in the business when he died. In 2009, she bought almost all the other shares she didn't already own in Altana, so naturally, she is the majority shareholder. Additionally, Clatton owns stock in the following companies: SGL Group, Geohumus, and the wind energy business Nordex AG. She assisted her grandfather in developing Altana AG into a premier pharmaceutical and specialty chemical business. She is the richest woman in Germany and the 65th richest person in the world. Number 7. Yang Huiyan, $29.6 billion. Yang Huiyan became China's richest woman at the age of 25. Her wealth comes from a 60% stake in the real estate developer Country Garden Holdings. Yang controls the holdings, a Chinese real estate developer that builds properties and manages hotels throughout the country. Her father co-founded Country Garden in 1992 and transferred his stake in the company to her in 2005. The Foshan-based business had a revenue of 523 billion yuan, approximately $81 billion in 2021. Yang also chairs Bright Scholar Education Holdings, a Chinese education company that is the largest operator of international and bilingual K-12 schools in China. Number 6. Jacqueline Mars, $31.3 billion. Jacqueline Mars is an American heiress and investor. She is the daughter of Audrey Ruth and Forrest Mars, making her the granddaughter of Frank C. Mars, who founded the American candy company Mars Incorporated. In 2019, her shares in Mars and other assets were estimated to be worth $23.5 billion, making her the 18th richest American. From 1982, when she joined the firm as president of the food product group, until her retirement in 2001, Jacqueline was actively involved with Mars Inc., according to Forbes' June 2019 survey. With an estimated $28.1 billion net worth, Mars is the wealthiest Virginian. Number 5. Miriam Adelson, $38.2 billion. Miriam Adelson married Sheldon Adelson, the former CEO and chairman of casino company Las Vegas Sands Corporation. He died at 87 in January 2021, making Miriam the owner of more than half of the $48 billion gambling empire, with casinos in Las Vegas, Singapore, and Macau. She and Sheldon were GOP mega donors and have donated about $180 million to Republican campaigns and political action committees in 2020. She is an Israeli who became a medical doctor focusing on addiction. Also, she and her late husband founded the Sheldon G. Adelson Research Clinic in Las Vegas, which treats people with opioid use disorder. Miriam's acquired fortune got her the rank of the richest Israeli and the 36th richest person in the world, and also the 5th richest woman in the world. Number 4. Julia Koch, $46.4 billion. When David Koch died in August 2019 at age 79, Julia Koch and her 3 children inherited his 42 stakes in the Koch Industries. Julia, a native of Iowa, moved to New York City in the 1980s and worked as an assistant to fashion designer Adolfo. She worked with many of his top-profile clients, including First Lady Nancy Reagan. She and David met in 1991 via a blind date. What would seal their relationship fate would be their meeting by coincidence 6 months after. They began to date and got married in 1996. They both did their fair share of philanthropy, donating $10 million to Mount Sinai Medical Center and $10 million to Stanford Children's Hospital to study food allergies. At his death, Koch controlled a fortune estimated at $53.5 billion, making him the 7th richest American. He left behind at least $143 million of real estate in New York City, the Hamptons, Aspen, and Florida. Number 3. Mackenzie Scott, $59 billion. Mackenzie Scott met Jeff Bezos in 1992 while working at a hedge fund, D.E. Shaw. They were married the following year and moved to Seattle in 1994. Their marriage ended in 2019, and as part of the divorce settlement, Bezos transferred 25% of his Amazon stake, which was 4% of the company. This was done in May 2019, shortly after she announced their divorce settlement on Twitter, making her the 3rd richest woman in the world. She is heavy on philanthropy though, as she became the most prominent philanthropist of the corona pandemic, giving away $5.8 billion in grants to 500 nonprofit organizations across the US. She supports various causes, including racial equality, LGBTQ+ rights, and public health. By late 2020, she had also given about $1.7 billion to 119 nonprofit groups. Number 2. Alice Walton, $60.5 billion. Formerly the number 1 richest woman in the world, Alice Walton is an American heiress to the fortune of Walmart. The retailing enterprise still rose by more than 5% in mid-March 2020, probably because it introduced free delivery as part of a membership program helping boost online sales. Alice's net worth, mainly accumulated through Walmart's success in retail, makes her the 17th richest person in the world. She is the only daughter of Walmart founder Sam Walton. Unlike her siblings, Rob and Jim, she focused on curating art rather than working for Walmart. She is also one of the first to chair the Northwest Arkansas Council and played a significant role in developing the Northwest Arkansas Regional Airport. Number 1. Françoise Bettencourt Meyers, $73.3 billion. Françoise is a French businesswoman, philanthropist, writer, pianist, and most of all, she is a billionaire heiress and the wealthiest woman in the world. She has an estimated net worth of $75.3 billion as of March 2022. She inherited most of her fortune from her mother, Lillian Betancourt. She is the only child of her mother and granddaughter of L'Oreal founder Eugene Schuler. After her mother died in September, her fortune tripled with her investments through her family holding company. She also stands as the president of her family's philanthropic foundation, encouraging French scientific and artistic progress. She is, at the moment, the 12th richest person in the world, even though her current net worth hovers at $82.9 billion according to Forbes. This concludes our list of the 10 richest women in the world. Which of these women did you know would readily make the list before watching this video? Let us know in the comments section. And don't forget to share with friends, like, and subscribe to the channel.